First at 5, addressing grave concerns. Karen Reed is back in court today after a judge abruptly ended a pretrial hearing last week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Patrice Wood.
And I'm Dan Jennings. So you'll remember the judge was concerned that her defense team was compensating or collaborating with witnesses. So a special prosecutor argued that both sides need to share evidence before Reed's upcoming second murder trial. And he thought Reed's defense team wasn't doing that.
Let's get right out to NBC 10's Gabrielle Caracciolo, who's been following today's hearing. She's live in Dedham, where it just wrapped up in the last hour. Gabrielle?
Karen Reed's defense team spent hours today picking apart and pushing back on claims that the prosecution made last week that they weren't being fully communicative and transparent about their communication with key witnesses. This is all in preparation for Reed's second trial, and it centers around key accident reconstruction witnesses originally hired by the feds.
What the Commonwealth raised does raise serious issues. Not just the rights of counsel, but Ms. Reed's right to a fair trial and all that that entails.
A week after abruptly stopping a pretrial hearing, citing grave concerns in the case against Karen Reed, court resumes.
There's a lot at stake here. The issues are momentous.
Her defense team picking apart arguments made by the prosecution.
The entire buildup of February 18th was on the false foundation that the Commonwealth had gotten all the information that they were going to talk about until Your Honor's break from the federal government and not the defense, which was completely false.
Reed's team says they handed over emails and an invoice from accident reconstruction witnesses during the discovery process. While admitting to paying the witnesses after the first trial, they say there was no prior agreement to do so.
There was no promise, rewards, or inducements or payments.
The prosecution argues that's not entirely the point.
They posture the information that they gave in advance of the second trial, and I'm going to get to the timing of that, but it ignores entirely withholding this information before the first trial. The defendant presumed innocent has a right to a fair trial, and so do the people of the Commonwealth. It is clear from a reading of the transcripts and the records and the posturing of materials that there was information that showed that ARCA was not wholly independent.
Now, all of this back and forth raises the question of whether mistakes made by Karen Reed's defense team could impact their ability as out-of-state lawyers to practice here in Massachusetts. No final decisions were made today. They ran out of time in court this afternoon, and both sides will be back here next Tuesday. In Dedham, Gabrielle Caracciolo, NBC 10 News.